In the Pits is partnered with QBR. Are you seeking to heal and recover from the toll that paintball puts on the mind and body? QBR has the solution for you. Head to QBRofficial.com and use code PITS10 for 10% off of your order plus free shipping. QBR, they don't sell broccoli. In the Pits is partnered with Mariachi Águilas de Oro. Based in Austin and servicing the surrounding areas, these golden eagles will bring life to any event you are having, from birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, corporate events, or even a simple performance to enjoy. Guillermo Padilla, one of their trumpet players, is also a member of the Texas paintball scene. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram to check out some of their past performances, or give them a call to book them for your event today. In the Pits is partnered with 71 Designs, owned and operated by veteran Wade Martin, and partnered with fellow Texas brand Compete. 71 Designs can take your ideas for soft goods, merchandise, and casual wear and make them a reality. Message 71 Designs on Facebook or Instagram to get started today. In the Pits is partnered with Hydra. Designed by players for players, you can outfit yourself in Hydra gear from head to toe. Have confidence that when you make a purchase from Hydra, you are purchasing a well-tested and well-thought-out product, trusted by several top teams, including first-place semi-pro team PaintballFit.com. I personally recommend their Hydra Black knee pads. Purchases over $100 receive free shipping. Head to hydra.fit to browse their selection and discover the Hydra mentality. In the Pits is partnered with XTPL Events. The Extreme Tournament Paintball League is a series put on by the Lukow family of Paintball Fit fame that gives the opportunity for players to learn and grow together as a team. 3-man, Challengers and Champions X-Ball, Draft Mech X-Ball, and even Youth 3v3. There's something for everyone at XTPL. Not to mention prize tosses, raffles, and the infamous paintball munching contest. Events happen throughout the year, and the prizes never disappoint. Sign up for an XTPL event today on PB Leagues. In the Pits is partnered with TexanHemp.com, locally shipped cannabis seeds. In a world where saving time means making money, TexanHemp.com, a local cannabis seed bank owned and operated by local Texas pro player Jared Sherman, is making waves by becoming the go-to source for all cannabis genetics in Texas. Carrying a large assortment of cannabis cultivars, including Texas-approved varieties for use in the Texas Hemp Program, high THCA seeds for novelty use, as well as premium genetics bred for solventless extraction, TexanHemp.com has the ability to satisfy even the most sophisticated collectors. Head to TexanHemp.com and use code INTHEPITS for 10% off of your orders. In the Pits is partnered with BEM Wraps. Behind every mask is a unique and creative player. Tap into it when you order your next custom headpiece. Their Build-A-Band lets you communicate with them one-on-one to make your order just the way you want, all the way down to the color of the stitch. Check out their Instagram at BEMWraps for drops and build videos of them working on orders. They offer very competitive pricing, so reach out today to get started on your own one-of-a-kind headpiece. In the Pits is partnered with Compete. Compete is a Texas-based brand by Jell Stewart of professional team AC Diesel that provides custom jerseys, pants, headbands, straps, tech shirts, and any other soft goods to help individuals and teams compete at the highest level. Support Texas Paintball and message Compete on Facebook or Instagram and mention In the Pits Podcast for 10% off your entire order. In the Pits is partnered with the San Antonio 3v3 Paintball Series. The series provides local players with an affordable, fun opportunity to experience the excitement of tournament paintball. Visit SAT3PB.com for details on upcoming events. In the Pits is partnered with Get Dat Shot. Get Dat Shot is now scheduling photo and reels coverage for teams competing in the upcoming NXL Windy City Major. Head to GetDat_shot on Instagram to check out his previous work or to shoot him a message to secure your media coverage today. In the Pits is partnered with Paintball Kumite. Paintball Kumite is a program designed by Colt Roberts of professional team San Antonio X Factor to take paintball players of all ages, experience levels, and skill groups and mold them into champions. The program breaks the game down into small, easy-to-learn sessions designed to help you master the fundamentals so that you can elevate your game. Newcomers to the program get a free 1-hour introductory class when mentioning In the Pits. To sign up for a class, message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 122 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week, we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and new special guest. I'm Christian Dallas Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans, and this episode we're going in the pits with Victor Gamboa, assistant coach for San Diego Dynasty. Vic, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Beautiful day out here in California, but all is good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. This is going to be I think it's going to be a great episode. I know that your role is one that very few other teams out there even have. So I'm very curious to hear like what all your experience is, both like during games, during practices, behind the scenes, all the logistics, and just everything it is that you do for San Diego Dynasty.
I guess you would like me to share with you what my purpose is then, I guess.
Well, I think we'll get to that, but I want to hear first kind of like your history as far as like your origin story within the game of paintball. So how long have you been involved in tournament paintball?
I started playing back in 1990. I was taken out for Hell Week for my fraternity, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, shout out, Phi A. And we were taken out to play paintball on the final weekend of Hell Week. And I think that was on a Saturday. And I believe the following week, after Rush Week, I went back and I was hooked. I was it. And since 1990, and in regards to competitive, 2012, when I started Arizona Elite. And then got into a semi-pro with California Elite and made my way to the pros with Dynasty. So yeah, at some point, yeah, that's, I would say 2012 competitively. That's when I got the real bug of playing at a level where I wanted to win. And I still recall some of our victories where, oh my God, you just wanted so bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those that feeling of your first win is something that you never forget out there. So this question is brought to us by XTPL Events. So as far as like your history as a player, what are some of those teams that you've been on?
Well, pretty much I used to play competitive when I used to go to SC Village, and I think it was more kind of a bunch of friends getting together and playing. I think I recall that I tell Ryan, I'm pretty sure we crossed paths at some point, and those guys at SC Village, but I think we're just playing in different fields. But I think competitively wise, I think I got more serious when I started playing with the lead in 2012. Everything else was more woods ball back in the days. Keep in mind, this is 1990. Mm-hmm. So you're playing on hills and mountains and trees. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, it was just recreational more than anything.
I love it. Yeah, here in the chat, Dan Shelley says hi. He says he's excited to see you in a few weeks.
Well, I appreciate that. Shout out, Dan. I appreciate everybody. I look forward to seeing everybody at World Cup coming up. So yeah, we're getting ready.
Oh yeah, we're winding down. Winding down. So this question is brought to us by QBRofficial.com. So as far as like what got you like hooked into paintball, what do you remember if there was like a specific moment during that Hell Week that like really got you that bug bite?
So keep in mind it was Hell Week. We're wearing the same clothes for the week. I had a pair of jeans and a white shirt. We're playing SC Village. Shout out to them. And I'm playing on the field of Beirut. And there's a river pond, a river waterway that ran through the field. And I remember that I jumped in, held my gun, and waited there. And then players came by, and I popped out of the water. And yeah, it just blew everybody away. And after that, I was like, man, it does not get any better than this. And from then on, you're going to the paintball shop and looking for some of the best equipment, which at the time was not affordable. And you did everything you can to look as best as you can and play as best as you can. So it was that shot just coming out of surprise. And you know, it was just ridiculous. Yeah, I still remember that river. I was in the water.
I love
Was
it.
in the water. Yeah.
I love it. And your first paintball experience, you're going to a legendary field, SC Village, for your first time. That's that definitely sets you up for success right there.
Yes. And I got to say, out of my fraternity bros, I was the one that got hooked, and I've always loved the game. And I think when I moved to Arizona, I drove by, I saw the word paintball, and that just just resparked everything all over again. It's just the fire into playing, and yeah, eventually I started my own team.
Love it. All right. So this next question is brought to us by Pod Runners Union and SAT 3v3, which is Sasha Zucker, if you know him down at X Factor.
Yes.
So what are some things that have changed within paintball since you've been around, either for better or for worse?
Wow. Everything. Everything. I keep in mind that not just from the markers to the competitive edge, um, but just the whole mental aspect of the game, and especially the respect level of the game, that is it's considered a sport. And I think that's what some people don't tend to really capture when you are trying to explain the game of paintball. I mean, when I tell people what I do, they're like, "Now, obviously everybody knows this, ping pong." No, not ping pong, paintball. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, and then obviously the second question is, "Oh, freeze my balls." No, that does not happen. Yeah, that's a myth that, yeah, it can happen, but no, that's we don't want to hurt anybody. But a lot has changed in the way the sport has grown, and I think if you look at some of the better players that we've had, playing today, that date back 20, 30 years. God knows I don't need to mention anybody, especially someone from my team or two that are over 40. Um, Look how the sport has just grown and has just publicly there's awareness to the game and to the fact that it is an actual sport. It's not just for fun. When you show someone the pro field or a divisional field and they're playing these bunkers and the energy that goes into it and just everything about it, they go, damn, that's not easy. And it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, ask yourself, how many people can do what some of these players do? God knows I can't. I mean, yeah, take me to a dive? No. You'll be carrying me away in a stretcher, you know? So it is amazing. A lot has changed. I mean, from the marketing aspect of you, from the technology, from the organization. And keep in mind how competitive we are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look what people spend on this to try to win. But they don't stop. They want to win. I mean, it's just that edge, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know, like, even just what's changed within paintball this year with all of these events being the biggest non-World Cup event in Vegas. You had the summit happen. We've had the whole ESPN going back on there. This World
And then look
Cup
at all
is
look at all the big games that we have. Look at these huge big games. 500 players, 1,000 players showing up. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And I mean, it's a huge industry.
Oh yeah.
And then we're trying to pitch it to people that don't understand it, right? But once you go, man, and believe me, I've taken people and I know people that go on for their first time. They're like, "Damn, I didn't know it was this big." So yeah, good for the sport.
Absolutely. Here in the chat, I want to get this in here while he's still here. So Steve Blair is in the chat. He says, "I'm glad Victor didn't know what was in that river. That was a dairy runoff." Love it.
You know what? Yeah. Thank God I was young and full of energy, and I was able to recuperate. But damn, you know what? If it wasn't for that river, I wouldn't be playing paintball, and I would not be on Dynasty right now as we speak. So yeah.
Oh yeah. When the bug bites, it bites hard.
Yeah, and God knows it was expensive then, and it still is now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So this next question is brought to us by BemRap. So, officially for San Diego Dynasty, you're the pit manager and one of the assistant coaches. So, what all are the duties that fall under your responsibility?
All right, let's start with the primaries. Um, First and foremost, my number one responsibility is to make sure that I cover practices with the layouts. My job is to film everything for the players. Uh, it's been of a challenge when I first started because we used to go to different fields and different, uh, you know, uh, yeah, teams. And keep in mind, you're filming, but anybody can film, and you have to make them understand that anybody can pull up a GoPro and film. You can't stop anybody from that. But I take the pleasure of filming for the team, filming all the games, and actually also taking the liberty of calling games. So I tend to make sure that we keep a good momentum when we're playing three teams, as maybe you are aware and you see me. I make sure I put a little spark and fire under people's butt to move, get to the box. We're here to practice. You got 5, 10, 15 minutes. That's great, but let's get back and let's play the game. And my job is primarily to make sure I film everything. And when it comes to the event, I'm like the player's concierge. I make sure that everything is ready for them to be prepared and everything they need and have to go and play the game without any worry. And we're talking about, obviously everybody knows the basic essentials, your waters, paint. But in regards to staffing, respecting the player's space, also the player's personal needs, you know, keep in mind every player will tell me on the side, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this. It's my job to have everything in the back, from Tylenol to Aleve to tape to whatever they need, anything to hold their pants up to anything. Uh, my job is for them to go and play, be the band, and like I say, me and Crando are we're the grips. So yeah.
That job is so important. It takes so much more to win at paintball than just what happens on the field. You can very easily lose games because of what happens on the sidelines or what happens in your lack of preparation. Whether it's heck, this happened to a team that I coached for just a few weeks ago. We lost a point because someone went onto the field with dead batteries in their gun and they were in position to go win the game. But
yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Perfect example. So I have to say this, that I started doing this a few years ago. And for those that are watching, I think we're aware when it became a thing. And you have to understand that I learned from people like Fran, from guys from Heat, God knows those guys, people from Damage. I learned from people that taught me, but back in, I would say a couple of years ago, I don't think the spotlight was on what these great people did. You know what I mean? I don't think it was made aware. And and people have asked me, and maybe because maybe the way I ran it or the way I organized it was different, because yes, I got chewed out when I kicked people out of the pit and I put caution tape and I cleaned it and I swept it. But God knows, I mean, I could tell you 3 or 4 or 5 people that were fighting for rakes in the back just because who wants to have a cleaner pit, right? See, but that was then. But now when I walk the pits now and I see these new teams and I see all these gadgets, these air coolers, these ice chests, these carts, I mean, it is far beyond what I did and what I have done. But the organization that's being put into running a pit now, I have to tell you, I feel like the old guy in the box, because I admire how far people have taken the way they run their pits now. I mean, look at some of these new teams that just came up. I mean, Jesus Christ. And don't get me wrong. I'm the first one to tell any pro team, hey, anything you need, let me know. I got you. The reason is I have staff. I have loyal staff. And my staff knows that we're not just there for us. When we play for us. We get it. But when we're not, we're going to help the other team because the battle's not off the turf. It's on the turf. But it has come a long way where I think I just made sure that when that spotlight was pointed at me, I needed to make sure that all these other people got the recognition because this is where it started. And I think you can walk down the pro pits now and tell yourself, man, look, I just have water. That's it. That's all Dynasty drinks. Okay? Mountain Spring, water. But you walk down some of these pits, man, look, Gatorade, Red Bull. You know, I mean, I'm one to tell you. I go ask Fran for a soda once in a while because we don't have soda, you know? And once in a while, I just need a sugar boost. But they have it all. Snacks. They have, energy bars. No, I don't do energy bars. You know, I'll do a bag of apples and oranges because I know what Dynasty needs. I know what they use, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think everybody's taking it to a different level that makes me look that bad.
I mean, the escalation, or I guess the I can't remember the word for it. The just the arms race, that the word I'm looking for there. The arms race of the pit crew has been cool to watch over the last, let's say, like 10 years, where teams are getting more and more support just so they can really maximize their capability on the field by minimizing all of the distractions and all of what previously we would just call bad luck, I guess, in previous years. And looking at all of these teams that have like well-known pit crew, like I've got rosters in front of me just so I can say their names. Unfortunately, the gentleman from Baltimore, Revo, who's been with them for many, many years, he's not officially on the roster, so I don't have his name in front of me. But you also have, Oliver got in for X Factor. Yes. He's got his own like contraption for filling pods. You've got Pat McKenna and John Monville with Houston Heat. Steve
Cambros, those guys. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You've got, over at Paintball Fit, you've got JD and Sarah Lukow. You've got, and actually that cooler that you were talking about with Paintball Fit that has the temperature controlled contraption. I know that's actually owned by Chris Harrison.
Really?
Yeah. He's the father of little Cooper Harrison.
That is. Can I just say that is correct? Because I remember I said, "Whose is this? And can somebody show me this contraption?" And they did display it for me. I got to tell you, hands down, I'm blown away. And that's what I'm competing with. Keep that in mind. They've taken what we do in the pits to another level, and blows my mind. And yes, we are eliminating the factors that might get in the way of a W. Now, how did the spotlight come to this? Well, I got to tip my hat to my teammates. These guys ball. They ball. And after the wins and the commitment to what is necessary to make this happen, it only had to make me up my game. And because of that, and the W's, this is when the spotlight goes like this. What are the contributing factors to these W's? First of all, great athletes, true gentlemen, commitment to the sport, and of course, look, we have a good pit crew. And that's when I came to play, right? It is all those factors that brought the spotlight to everything that we did, and we have done.
Mm-hmm. And in the chat, Steve Blair, he says it started with you, Vic, which I agree with. I mean, the first event that you were officially listed on San Diego Dynasty's roster on PB Leagues was World Cup 2016. Was the first event that you were listed. So and this question is brought to us by Mariachi Aglas de Oro. So how was it that you originally got connected with San Diego Dynasty?
So I was I had my team, AZ Elite in Phoenix, Arizona, and there was a paintball park, Westworld, and Ryan Greenspan and Yo Frau were doing a clinic. Actually, it was also, yes, Ryan Greenspan, Yo Frau, and then there was another one. There was Marcelo Morgat and Alex Rodriguez. And I met Alex and Marcelo first. I went to a clinic and I met them. I actually have the photos that I took with them. And then the following clinic, I met Ryan and Yosh. And believe it or not, I got to get along with Yosh very well. So they happened to go out to dinner. And I'm like, hey, yeah, let's go. So we went to this restaurant and it was all saturated, like greasy food, right? And we're sitting at this table and I walk in and I said, guys, yeah, we can't eat this. So I wrapped up the bill and we went upstairs to Kabuki's, to a sushi house, a sushi restaurant. And we closed it down that evening and we stayed there all night. And I still have the photo that I took with Ryan and Yo Frau outside that restaurant, and that's how we became friends. And they gave me their numbers, and I brought them out for clinics, and that's how it all started. Yosh always saying, "Yeah, come help us a bit." No, just come watch. No, just come watch. Keep in mind, I run a company. No, just come watch. Don't do anything. Yeah, no, I couldn't just watch, man. I got deep into it. I helped. And by the way, the first time that World Cup that you mentioned, yeah, my hand cramped. I completely, my hand, like, literally did this. And Chris, who was assisting me, who's part of the Dynasty pit crew, he's a veteran, he's a legend within the family. He said, "Man, are you all right?" And I swear to God, my hand was like this just from potty. Because Eric Crandall does not allow pot fillers.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's how it started.
So
it started from meeting them in Phoenix at the clinic.
So from that first time, how did that eventually evolve into everything that you do now for the team?
Being the fact that I'm not one to just sit around, and being one, obviously, running a business, you work with a lot of people. It just evolved where I made myself available to go to the events and be part of the staff, just for the fact that, first of all, I was a huge fan. And, keep in mind, I'm an older guy, but, I'm around paintball, I'm around these guys that I've heard of, that I've seen. And I'm just at all like, damn, this is Joe Frau, this is Ryan Green, this is Alex Frage. Oh my God, this is Blake Yarber, this is Marcelo Morgat, right? Yeah, and I just wanted to be a part of that. Now, keep in mind, you just don't get accepted, just for being present. You really put in your dues with this team, and they, because there's so many fans. So I think one of the things that I shared with Alex Frage not too long ago, me and Alex Frage, I don't think Alex Frage spoke to me for the first 2 years. He did not. It was like, hey man, what's up? Hey bud, yeah, hey, thank you, man. But I don't think he really spoke to me for 2 years, and we talked about it. He says, I wanted to know that you were going to stick around. And I think I was consistent, and I slowly started taking more initiative. Like, oh my God, I'm actually thinking ahead before they ask of what is necessary. And I slowly started creating value for myself. Keep in mind, I created the value for them to recognize where I could be effective to this team. And I think once they see that on a consistent basis, they go, damn, okay, this guy's serious. He's here. So yeah, it was earned. It was earned.
I love it. And kind of on that topic, and this one's brought to us by Colt Roberts and his training regimen, Paintball Kumite. So what are some challenges that you face in your roles, and how is it that you work to improve your craft?
Challenges that I face in my in the role that I play. Was that correct?
Yes.
Look who your teammates are. That's a challenge. To keep in mind, I watch a lot of paintball at practice. I watch all the games because I film every point. The challenges that I run into is how do you tell someone on your team on Dynasty and say, hey, you're sucking pretty bad. Hey, you're making the same mistake. Hey, what's going on? Do you understand? How do you tell someone like a Marcelo or Ryan or a Blake or anybody on this squad, anybody? Because these guys master the craft. And I think what people don't understand, when we go to practice, the mentality of what is spoken on the field and off the field, keep in mind, no maps. It's amazing. It's outstanding to me. Like, it blows me away that these guys, the knowledge that they bring and the different perspectives of the game and how it's going to be played. But the challenge is, how do you tell these guys and you try to correct someone without disrespecting them? You know what I mean? It was very difficult for me when the first time I can actually tell you that I sat this team down and, we're at practice and I'm like, hey, this is an opportunity that we can't lose. I need you to focus. How do you tell these guys that? And you have to trust the fact that you've done your due diligence as a teammate, as a coach, and as a friend, that you can correct them. And then they sit back and go, yeah, you're right, Beck. Thanks. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. So keep in mind, you think you know? Oh, these guys know more. Keep in mind, I might be in a tower filming, but these guys are on the field. And the shot perspective is a whole lot different than what it is from the tower.
Mm-hmm.
How am I to improve my craft? Second question, correct?
Yes.
Jesus, man. I'm walking around these I walked around these pro pits in Chicago and Philly, man, and I'm seeing these new teams and all these gadgets and this and that. I guess the only best thing I can do is try to create better friendships and better bonds with players, because keep in mind, there's always a team before you and there's always a team after you. What makes the transition smooth is that you have cordial respect for everyone, that handles the pits, even the teams and the coaches, because it is because of the people in front of me that makes my job easy to come in, close the pit, put the caution tape, clean it out, get my pit ready for my guys, set up the stage. And then it's also my responsibility for the team behind me to look out for them, because one day they're going to play in front of me, not behind me. And when I ask for that favor, guess what? These guys will give me that table. When it's raining, God knows we are blessed to have some kind of tent and some cover. Am I right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you screw that up, guess what? You're going to be out in the rain and you're going to be trying to get into the pit 3-4 minutes before the match starts, and you're screwed. So I think the best thing I can do is just try to be a better person and get to know everybody and show them the same respect that give them the respect they can give me as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
It
In the
had
chat,
it had nothing to do with the equipment, huh? Did it?
yeah, I'm waiting to hear when you're going to be building one of those temperature controlled environments for all these paint coolers on wagons with generators and all of these other
Yes, guess what? I'm not, because I do things that I don't think I would need them. There's a reason why, paint is everything. So we'll go to the next question, but let me tell you, paint is life. And God knows, we filled up 100 pots, and within the first point, we dumped 100 pots of paint because it didn't shoot right. We don't even risk it. Dump it. Get a new pallet. Let's go. Done. No questions asked. Crandall makes the call. No questions asked. It gets done. So yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, paint definitely will make or break you 100%. In the chat, Chris Sawtell asks if you own stock and caution tape.
Yeah, I do not. But it's okay because France started using the one that says danger. So I won't make any money because everybody's not even using the yellow one. They're using the one that says caution, danger, stay out. Yeah. So I think Fran made sure he made a point to take me to his pit to show me, look, mine is red. So yeah.
Love
Yeah,
it.
it was good.
That's its own arms race, is the caution tape.
I don't even know how that started, but it really kind of took its own life. But I think that's when people realized how serious I took my job. And I have to tell everyone, look back at some of the points that we have played where we have been down on points, losing. And I think, Christian, you could recall a few, right? In the last year, right? I mean, even this year in Vegas, right? We're getting our asses handed. But it's in the pit where the players come in and relay what they see to the coach. If you don't have your space and in your area where you can relay and communicate and you don't have people around you, none of this is going to get relayed correctly, or that is where it is productive. So it's a proven fact. It works. It's my pit. It's my point. Let us do our job. We have 4 matches. And trust me, it sucks not making Sunday. So
Absolutely. So this next question is brought to us by Jared Sherman from Austin Notorious and his website texanhemp.com. So walk me through a typical event timeline, starting from your pre-event prep all the way through the last point on Sunday.
All right, I'm gonna give you a quick recap of what my schedule would look like. Okay, let's say can we assume we're playing at 10:30 and 12:30, right? Can we do that, Christian?
Sure. Well, let's even back up to where, like, even with the scrimmage the week before for the layout weekend. So even, like, let's say, hey, what's your schedule look like for the World Cup practices and the event?
Well, for this coming up, I will leave to practice on Thursday to San Antonio, obviously. Be there from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Be home only for 2 days and head out to World Cup on Tuesday and stay there all the way till Monday. Keep in mind, prior to Thursday's practice, next week when I leave, I have to prep all the equipment, make sure that regards to batteries, supplies, tapes, everything that the team needs that I need to have in my bag. And there's just a lot of knickknacks that have to go in there. Plus, I prepare for filming. Keep in mind that when I film at a park, let's say if Impact there, and obviously X Factor and ourselves, I'm cordial enough to share video with the teams that we play with. It is a responsibility that those videos do not get shared with anybody else, but those videos get shut down on Tuesday morning when I board. So they're only available online for 24 hours for the players to review. And that goes, by the way, for my team as well. Anybody can film. So why have 2 people with cameras? I do the cordial thing and I share with people, and I'm able to see who logs in, who sees these videos. And if I saw something that was just not right, I would shut it down immediately. But I'm able to prep all that equipment. And in regards to the event, don't even get me started. I get up at 6 o'clock. I like to be the field early. I walk the pro pits 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours before my match. I already go talk to the teams. I verify our pits, not just with the head rep, with Jason and those guys, but I say my regards to them. I let them know where I'm going to be. I let them know if I'm going to shut down in a certain area because of the traffic flow. So I prep and I walk the pro pits 2 hours before, and I think the pro teams already know that because they see me back there, and they start knowing that I'm gonna be coming in soon. And I kind of see where are we going to camp out? Where am I going to send my guy? So I can let Dynasty know where we are. it is an all-day thing. From preparing from your supplies, from taking care of your pit staff. God knows, without them, I couldn't do what I do. But bringing everybody together and making them feel really involved, you know, it's a very. I mean, the question asked is, there's so much, you know. I don't know. I tried to answer it the best I could. I don't know if I did.
I
Did
mean,
that make
it's
sense?
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot that goes into it. Just making sure that hey, time is uh, valuable, and making sure that you're using every second of it to it's make sure you
Let
get
me
the most output out of it.
let me point this out. I landed World Cup on Tuesday. Everything that has to be purchased will be purchased on Tuesday. Once Wednesday practice starts, I do I do not feel comfortable leaving the team to go buy supplies, waters, or anything that I already should have, because it's my job to be near the team in case they need something. So I don't like to. I like to try to get everything together with one run. You know. So yeah.
Absolutely. In the chat, we have a question from Steve Blair. He asked, "Do you, as far as the scouting goes, does that fall under your responsibilities, or is that mostly SK?"
Uh, that's SK and Junior. Um, and blown away with what he does. First of all, I think he's partaked in some of the coaches group meetings and that they have out there, but SK has perfected that because he sees both sides of the field, and he's always had someone. Um, at some point, I did try, and I was helping him, but I was better served to make sure that we had everything ready. Because don't get me wrong, I know everybody sees that I close stuff off, you know, that I give everybody their space. But let me tell you what SK does. Hey, Victor, I need you to get everybody out of here, okay? I need my space. Get everybody out. Get everybody away from the net. So he tells me, like he tells me, I just get everybody out, get him out of here. I need my space, you know? So my hands are pretty full with the things I have to do. And
So
keep in mind,
you're also the team bouncer. I love it.
yeah, no, yes, and I said this in a prior podcast. And shout out to Paintball Nerd, but it didn't come easy, man. I was I've been cursed at. I've been I've been cursed at. I've been I've been yelled at. I've been, you know, shied away, right? And I gotta stand there, and I fight for every piece of square footage that I can get to the net, so that my coach and my teammates have the best view to do their job. And it's hard. And, you know, I mean, how do I kick cash money out? You know, Todd Martinez, sometimes, and there's so many times this guy plays behind us, right? Cash money just walks through that caution tape like nothing. I can't tell Todd Martinez to get out, man. It's cash money, right? But he knows, just keep it to the right, you know? And you know what I do? And I have said this. I hand out waters to everybody that stands behind the caution tape.
There you go.
We give out drinks. Yeah, and they hate it. They hate it because I'm being nice. And they just can't help it. They just like, damn, no, I don't want water.
At
But
least
yeah, it's
at least it's just
it ain't.
water. If it yeah, and that's probably a good thing you only have water. Otherwise, if you had other drinks there, then maybe you'd have a crowd to deal with.
Yeah, I also turn away smokers, vapors, everybody. I
That
got
I
to
can
tell you,
appreciate.
these guys have nostrils that can smell smoke and cigarette a mile away, and it is not tolerated. So I will be the guy to say, hey, would you mind just taking it away outside, you know? And yeah, you know, plus it doesn't look good if it's caught on camera, right? It's We're supposed to be athletes, right? And then you got people in the back smoking.
I can appreciate that.
Or you know what they've done near me? They're they're looking around and they do a little vape. And I swear to God, I'll be like, hey, do you mind? Can you take it outside? And they do. So yeah.
Love it. All right. So you're constantly surrounded by some of the greatest players to have ever played the game. Just to name a few, you got Ryan Greenspan, Archie Montemayor, Alex Frazier, Marcelo. The list keeps going on. Even Oliver Lang himself has stopped by to play a few events. So, what is the culture like on a team just chock full of legendary names?
Chaotic. It is. It is a madhouse because they're all right and no one's ever wrong. And you know, I think, and I believe that I'm blessed to be in such company because if only people could understand the information from someone like Oliver, Archie, you're right. All these guys you just mentioned, right? What the knowledge and the things that they bring to a conversation in regards to a layout in the game, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing, and there could be yelling disagreements, but at the end of the day, there's still love. Uh, because you look around and to be on Dynasty, you have to not just know how to play the game, but you have to have character. You have to have personality. You have to be humorous. You also, you have to be a pretty smart guy because the conversation that these guys have, and the IQ level of the game, especially someone like from Ryan and yeah, all these, and I'm not even saying Ryan, everybody on this team.
Mhm.
Um, you got to know what you're talking about because you don't look too smart if you say something that's really I don't know about that. You know, um, I think I'm blessed because I'm playing with some of the greatest minds that ever played the game, and it is amazing that at some of these guys at their age and what they're doing. Jesus Christ, man! Right? I mean, come on. Are we the fastest? Are everybody out there? Are we the fastest? No, we are not the fastest. Okay, um, but I will tell you, I think we're definitely one of the top three smartest because the knowledge that these guys put together, and it's not just about the game. It has to do about life, how you conduct yourself, how you treat people, respect. It is about Zen. It's about happiness, about being who you are. And, like these guys always say, are you having fun? Because if you're not, you need to stop. You have to have fun. So, does that have anything to do with being competitive? No, it has to do about you being happy as a person. So, do you see the different dynamics that are involved here?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, when you said like it requires character, requires like just the knowledge, the experience is huge on that team. Like you don't get on San Diego Dynasty without having something to contribute. There's no way that you can just fly under the radar there. Every single name that comes through that team is could be like an every point player on any other team in the league. And just being surrounded by all of that, like there's definitely a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but it's um, in my experience being able to watch dynasties practice, there's just an almost unmatched level of passion with that group
Let,
of individuals.
let's mention the obvious. Prince Harry, Chris Shear, right? I say Chris Shear, right? Danny, right? These guys. I tip my hats off to these guys, and I have to say this: like, you come into this team, and when do you say, "Hey, you're wrong, I'm right"? When do you tell someone like a Marcelo or someone else or Ryan that calls you out on something? No, you're wrong, I'm right. But these guys have come in with a certain sense of character and personality, and where they evaluate, they read the room, they absorb the information, they put it out, they win, they contribute, then they go, hey, I have a voice. I mean, what can we not say about Crashier and the way he plays and how many points he plays? Crashier plays an outstanding amount of points, right? Don't you think the guy's tired? But he goes out there. And then you got someone, Danny, coming in new who can get yelled at, but he's going to go out there and give you 100%. And then Harry, who you'll see at an event, he'll play, and then you won't see him play a point. You'll be like, what happened? These guys have learned to collectively put themselves together and be able to compete in such a roster that they are able to stand on their 2 feet and say, I have a voice because I am now at that level where I am playing and contributing. And you got to tip your hats off to that. And I got to tell you, I mean, it happened with me. Like, man, I don't think I said a damn word to the team until like I was there for 2 years or 3 years. I didn't have a voice. You had to earn it. So yeah, in regards to these guys, I mean, hats off to these new guys. You know,
Absolutely. Steve Blair has another question in the chat. He asks, is it a myth that Dynasty has heated arguments at practices? I feel like it's a requirement almost.
no, I got to tell you, it's not a myth, man. It's bad. But I have to tell you, I like to think when we have the most heated arguments, it is when we play the best. Because I like to say we leave all that negative juju out there. And we get together and collectively say, okay, you know, we fought a little, we yelled a little. Now let's go and deliver. Shout out to, first of all, Marcelo, because when Marcelo has some of the worst practices, he shows up to the events and he has the most amazing events. So sometimes when Marcelo's having a bad day, you don't see me frown. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. You know, because Marcelo, Marcelo will have some bad practice, man, but he takes those bad practices and he really absorbs. You know, he doesn't get down on himself. It's not that he's sad about it. It's that he's trying to figure out what went wrong. So it's not that he's mad or sad. He's figuring out, this is what I need to do. You know? But I don't think these guys are going to beat themselves down like that. Yes, heated arguments do happen, but I think in a good way. But I mean, why wouldn't it? Who's right or wrong? These guys are all talented. How can you not respect their point of view?
Absolutely. And I know with Marcelo, it's with him, I'm sure it's about, you got to learn all of the lessons of the field. And sometimes that means you go out there and you figure out the hard way that something doesn't work. But
keep in mind, why would it bother Marcelo? And I think this is what Marcelo is. Marcelo is one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Definitely top 3. I won't tell you where he stands in my book, and because I don't want to be biased, but I will tell you definitely one of the top 3 quarterbacks of the game. Am I right?
Okay, you can be biased for your team.
Okay, to be the best, one of the best quarterbacks of the game. That means everybody knows that Marcelo can play the backfield and make the calls, lay out the field for everybody on the team. That means he has to absorb everybody's information and what they're doing, and not just see it, but recognize it. So he knows what's happening because he makes the calls. Everybody hears him from the back center, from the corners, right? He lays out the field, and you hear his voice carry. Why wouldn't he, have a bad day or get upset? But he needs to absorb all this. He wants to understand, why is it that you're doing what you're doing? Because he can better relay what's happening. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So shout out to Marcelo.
For sure. So this next question, do you have throughout your entire paintball career, do you have a single favorite moment?
Yeah, when I won my first WCPL event uh, with AZ Elite, um, what came out of that? Brandon Unger. Everybody's familiar with that. Brandon Unger. He came out of AZ Elite. Uh, when we in that, it was during that event that I think he got spotted by Top Martinez. And then from there, he went to go do some practices with Ironman, and that's when his career took off. People, I had teammates like Gary Peavid and these other guys, but I still remember that first W, and I remember it because I was yelling on the sideline. I was told by other players, "Shut up, you're being too loud." But I just saw the point closing, and I still remember what it meant to me because of the fight that had put on for so many years. And follow that. I think when I was recognized to be part of this dynasty family, it's not easy to get in. Is to get in this bubble. And not saying that it's difficult and it can't be done by anybody, but there's a brotherhood between these guys, and I think that's what makes it special, right? I mean, these guys have been playing with each other since they were kids.
Mhm.
I mean, how do you let strangers in? How do you let them into your personal life and share things that matter? It's hard. So you just can't say, "Hey, let me in. I've been here. I earned it." No, you you really have to earn it, but not from what you do. It's from how they see what you have done. So yeah,
Absolutely. So this question is brought to us by 71 Design. So do you have any cool interactions or maybe some funny stories from over the years with Dynasty that you would like to share?
yeah. I'm gonna Alex Frazier. I think is gonna hate me for this, but uh, we, we got pulled over by the cops in. Am I right? I think it was Philadelphia. I think it was Philly. Him and I we went to the pier. We went to go eat at Nobu or something, and everybody's gonna say that I'm a horrible driver and I get lost everywhere. But keep in mind, my excuse is I don't live there, so I don't know the area. So it's all
Mm.
relied on maps. So if I get lost, sorry, I just don't live there. But we got lost, and and it was like 11 o'clock at night. This happened this year, and I did a U-turn, and he had to go to the bathroom so bad. He wanted to pee. And he saw the lights and he said, "What's going on?" I said, "Bro, we're getting pulled over." He goes, "Oh my God, this is not good." And he started freaking out. And I said, "It's all right, man. What's the worst that can happen? We're gonna get a ticket or what can happen?" I know, but this is not good. And we got pulled over. And I remember we were just trying to see the process. The cop was nice. He knew I was from out of town. He gave me a ticket where I didn't have to come back to court or anything. But poor Alex Frazee, man, yeah, he had a little panic attack and he had to pee so bad, and yeah, and we got lost. But yeah, that was hilarious. That was really funny. Yeah, and no, and we tried to keep it quiet, but I couldn't. It was too funny, you know.
Love it.
Yeah, and another experience is I went off roading with Blake Yarber, and I'm not an outside guy. I don't do outdoors too much. And we rented some four wheelers and whatever. And I got a flat. I started freaking out, and we were lost. We went off the trails, and Blake, you know, just being Blake, he was just calm and collected. Don't worry about it, man. We're gonna get back home. And I'm over here having a panic attack and got stuck in the dirt. And Blake pulls out the rocks and the whole thing, and Blake just being Blake. Uh, Another good time. Yeah, some great memories.
Love it. I bet you got many more of those stories in there. But we do have another question here in the chat as we kind of look to the present and the near future with Dynasty and their performance this season. Let's see, Steve Blair, he asks, what do you think the factor or multiple factors are as far as why Dynasty has missed the last 2 Sundays?
Oh, damn. I think because they needed the rest.
And
yeah.
just to clarify, it wasn't the last 2 Sundays, Steve. It was Chicago and then the Dallas event.
Yeah, correct. Look, how I see it is teams are getting smarter and they're getting faster. Okay. The young players are starting to, pick up on things that are being done. I think we had some missed opportunities. But we're trying not to take those missed opportunities as we got to learn from them. It was very disappointing, but I think throughout the years, everybody has seen that this team has prevailed and has bounced back. Keep in mind, we won quite a few World Cups in a row. I know the mentality and the mindset is in play now, and we're getting ready for this. But we understand. But keep in mind, damage. Heat and all these other teams, and I mean, Jesus Christ, they're good. They're good, and you have to you have to admit it, and you have to tip your hats off to these teams that are playing well. That means we have to be better. I think it's how we bring it together, and I don't think I can make any excuses or say anything that's going to validate why we missed it. You know what? We have to be better. That's it. Better than those guys. And sometimes, you know what? You need to fall and remind yourself, that you are, you're not, you're beatable. We're not perfect. God knows we want to win everything. And for a while, we were actually trying to win everything, right? Maybe this is just a reminder that we are human. But at the same time, we can't be sore losers, right? We messed up. We messed up. But we're not going to be sore losers about it. We're going to tip our hats to the winners. And then we're going to say, we're going to see you at the next event. But do not count us out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, I hope I answered that as best as possible.
Yeah,
That's a hard question.
It is.
What am I going to say? Oh my God, someone didn't shoot right. I mean, I saw how tired these guys were. Keep in mind, life happens, right? So I don't know if everybody understands this, but if you look at our roster, the Dynasty roster is made of not just paintball players, but family men and entrepreneurs. So there's life outside paintball, Yeah. So
feels like
family.
Half the team has had babies this year.
Yes, a lot of babies. And keep in mind that mostly all the players on this team run some kind of business, are entrepreneurs in their own way. All of us, we all do something besides paintball. So
shout out to Project, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Project. I look forward to you putting a gun together for me. Jesus. So I can add to my collection, by the way. So, yeah. What else does anybody want to know?
Yeah.
Should we talk about the collection that I have? Yes, I have Ryan Greenspan's USA jersey.
Yeah, so I was actually talking to Archie at work the other day, and I was just asking him, like, with the run that Dynasty has been on, post-COVID, let's call it, they've won, I think we said it was 7 major events in the last 3 years.
Correct.
Which ties the run that Impact had back in like 2014 to 2016-ish. And we were kind of discussing like whose, run felt, I guess, better or more dominant. And it feels like at least after Vegas, it feels like Dynasty's run has, or at least it appears to have come to an end. So,
Really? Is that what it feels like?
just, I mean, with two events not making it to Sunday, it and the league has definitely gotten significantly harder. And there's obviously the season's not over yet, and Dynasty is the team to beat at World Cup for the last 3 in a row. So,
So let me ask you: when we were winning and winning, right? People were saying they're going to win. They won again. They won again, right?
right.
It was great for us, but was it great for everybody else? It wasn't. It wasn't great. It was like, when are we gonna? What was the quote that I used here? When are we gonna slay the dragon?
Mhm.
Okay, now we lose. You know what? People are having babies. Life happens, right? But doesn't mean we're gonna stop being competitive. Enjoy the W's, but we're not going anywhere. Oh my God! If you don't think we're revving up for World Cup, oh yeah, bring it. Well, if you don't think, I have my pit crew. My pit crew was already in play 2 weeks after the last event. I already knew who I was going to have in the pits and why I was going to have them in the pits. I don't play around with rookies. I bring in my best guys because I know what needs to be done. I know who I have to contribute. I know what my job is going to be. My job is not going to be babysitting the pit. I got guys that I've taught already how to do my job and do it well. I want to focus more on making sure, what can I do better to bring to World Cup? Can I do better in making sure that our paint is money, that our paint is the freshest, that our paint is on point, and or whatever, our markers or any other detail? That's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to do things well, no, I want to do things, but I want to bring something, like you said, what can I better? I'm going to look to do things better at World Cup and bring a different perspective. I've seen these pro pits already.
Mhm.
Man, gorgeous. Good job. Bam, knocking out the park. Got it. What am I going to do? And so 2 weeks after the last event, I made my calls. I picked my staff and I locked them in for my roster
Love,
already. I did that.
I love it. That's
So yeah.
some serious preparation there. And this
Oh
question
yeah.
is brought to us by Hydra. I'm just wondering, is as far as the whole team goes, or is there any changes that are going to be made leading up to World Cup? As far, it could be like in how they prep, who they're practicing against, anything of that nature.
So yeah, I believe. Yeah. So look, we know that we're lacking talent. Obviously, we didn't make it. No, I'm just kidding. We're not lacking talent. God forbid. God forbid. If you know what, I like to think that. I mean, we have some players, man. So I like to think, and this is just me. Okay, I'm gonna be biased to my team. Uh, if it's Marcelo on a 1-on-2, in my eyes, it's a 2-on-2. Okay, because Marcelo, Ryan, and some of these guys, they play for two players. They don't count for one. Do you understand? I mean, Kashir and Danny, these guys, the way they're playing it, and Harry House, the odds. That's why when we're down 35, we don't blow the horn. It's a 55. We're still even. We're still in the game. Um, but in preparation wise, no, we're just gonna go out there and we're gonna leave it all at practice. Uh, I I think the only talent that we're gonna bring is me. You know, so let's see. I will actually be rostered for World Cup.
Ooh.
So yeah, yeah. You know what? I think it's time. I think so. After comparing ages, I told SK, I watched the most paintball. I know this. I know I can handle this, and plus, I have been staying in shape. Um, I will be rostering for World Cup, and who knows? You might see me out there. You know. So
There you go. You heard it here first. We got the official. We need the move alert poster to make it official.
Yeah, I think if you look on our roster, I think I'm on there already.
I've got it pulled up. You're on there. I'm waiting for the NXL to post it on their page. Move alert.
Yeah.
San Diego Dynasty
you know
adds
what?
Gamboa.
Plus, we're gonna get discounts at IHOP with me on there now. Do you know what I mean? We might actually get a cart to bring paint since I'm on the roster, so I might get wheeled out there. So there's some advantages to having another older guy out there. You know what I mean? Now we're gonna increase the old age. Now the average is gonna go higher. So now we're gonna be the oldest team out there.
Oh man!
Yeah. After we win, we'll be the oldest team out there.
You've got a lot you're bringing to the table there. I can't wait.
Yeah, you know what? I think all I need to do is shoot off the break, shoot snake runner, and just walk off the field. Just that's it. Let my guys do the rest. Yeah. Get my 1 kill, my 2 kills, walk out. Just shoot myself. Yeah. No need to do anymore. The last thing is I want them to renew a contract for me as a player for next year. I don't think that's necessary.
Love it. I mean, I don't know. I think the discounts at IHOP is understated. You gotta promote that one a little bit more.
Well, you know what? We'll see what we can do. I would like to mention that at this World Cup, and shout out to the San Diego Dynasty Championships Club members, we had a winner. His name is Caleb Duncan. He is actually going to be shadowing me at World Cup. He will have the jacket, he will have the hat, he will have the glasses, and I am looking forward to teaching him I am going to let him run a match. And I'm going to let him step in my shoes, feel my stress, my worries, and my concerns. And he, for the weekend, will be getting up in the morning with me at the same time we do, obviously not next to me, obviously, but he will be getting up at the same time. He will be working with my staff and myself in all the preparation that we do for a paintball event for Dynasty. I've been asked, what is it that I do and how I do it? Well, we had a lucky winner at the Champions Club who will be getting everything taken care of to come out and be me for the event. And I just hope, I hope his blood pressure doesn't go too high, but he's going to live the experience of what it takes to run a professional pit, especially with these guys. And by the way, Dynasty and all the team members are aware of this, and everybody's going to extend them the respect, as being one of our family members and our team members. And yeah, you're going to have to give the orders.
Love it.
So hopefully that will work out.
Yeah, that's a fun. That's a fun Champions Club prize. That's a cool experience that they're going to get.
Well, see, it's because everybody thinks what I do is easy, and I gotta tell you, man, it's so
definitely
stressful.
Not.
Look, when we lose, I cry. All right, let's just be clear. All right, but I cry in private.
All right. So here we're getting to the end of our show. So first, everybody that's online, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for getting your comments and questions and messages here in the chat. If you have any other questions for Vic, go ahead and get them in now because we're getting to the end. So in the meantime, Vic, this next question is one that I ask everybody that comes on the show. It kind of helps me keep track of anybody that maybe is either flying under the radar or is otherwise underappreciated for everything that they do. So this one's brought to us by Get That Shot, who I believe is going to be doing pro media for HK at World Cup. I know we did pro media for HK in Chicago. So message him if you're needing media coverage message him on Facebook or Instagram. That's GetDat_shot if you're going to need coverage at World Cup. So Vic, is there anybody in paintball? It could be a team, could be an individual player, could be a brand, could be a community member that you believe deserves more recognition for what they're doing?
God, that's a tough one. Well, it's not tough. It's not just one. I don't know if anybody knows it, but I know everybody in the parking that runs the parking at the event. I I know them because I take them breakfast. I know the people that run the garbage, and I know all security because I work with them. I just think everybody that can look. This is my best advice. The reason I am able to do what I do, it is. Can you give me the charger, please? The reason I'm able to do what I'm able to do is because I respect everybody. I respect everybody that does their job. And I think if we were to take value and appreciate everyone and say thank you to the people from the NXL, from the referees, to to everybody, I think it would make our job a lot easier. You know, so shout out to everybody that just contributes anything that helps our jobs easier. You know, um, I would have to say, yeah, just everybody behind the scenes, man. And by the way, the spotlight that we talked about in regards to the pits, uh, I think I was asked once, why is it that I why is it that I do what I do and why I give shout outs? It's because look back at all the years and all the teams that have been very successful. When did somebody say who was in the back? Who was the guy running the show? And I got to tell you, I know how many pods a box fills. I know how many boxes it takes to fill my teammates when I start. I know how many boxes I run during a match. I have all the information, but that's information that people from the past have taught me. And I think my job was to just make sure that, hey, we don't forget all these guys. But yeah, so no, everybody, even yourself, thank you for what you're doing. You're bringing a spotlight to what I do. So God bless you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stories out there that deserve to be told, especially with the behind the scenes. I mean, there's so much more that goes into it so that we can all run around and shoot gelatin balls at each other, and just crazy, ridiculous traveling circus that we do a couple of times a year.
Yeah, it's not easy, right? Keep in mind, a player shows up with the bag, shoots up, plays, does his thing. It's his job to do his job on the field, but it's our job to prep it and to clean it up, right? That's a lot of work. So yeah, my morning starts at 6 in the morning. If I have a noon game, I'm out there, but my day doesn't finish until the last match because at the end of the day, my coach is still out there scouting. So I got to look out for him. You
For
know.
sure.
So yeah, shout out to everybody. Thank
Not
you.
out. All right, Vic. So I think that just about does it for our show. Thank you so much for coming on. I think it's been a very unique perspective on one of the roles in the game that is not very well publicized, I don't think. And I think it should be. So,
Well, thank you so much, and I just want to say thank you for everybody. God knows, I hope it's entertaining. I hope you learned something. But at the end of the day, it's just fun. It's just fun, and God bless everybody, man. Thank
100%.
you.
So this final question is brought to us by Compete, which is Jell Stewart's brand. Message him on Facebook or Instagram. Mention In the Pits for 10% off of your order of soft goods. So Vic, do you have any last shout outs or things you'd like to say before we sign off? Oh, I think you hit the mute button there. There we go.
There. Yeah, say it again.
Do you have any last shout outs or things you'd like to say before we sign off?
Yeah. Shout out to all the teams that are going to compete in Florida World Cup. I mean, from all divisions, all divisions. I thank you. Everybody understands all the hard work that goes into it. I look forward to seeing everyone, and I mean, shout out to first of all and foremost my teammates, but to all the teams that we're going to compete. Bring your A game. You know what? That's what makes it entertaining. So that should be really fun. You know, we put a show, and let's make it a good one. Because you know what? If at the end of the day I'm hoisting that trophy, it is because we've earned it, because we have competed amongst the best. So yeah.
All righty.
And thank you to you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. And I also want to give a thank you to all of our audience that's tuning in. Be sure to go follow Vic at Gamboa Limitless on Instagram. What other guests would you like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. The show goes live weekly here on youtube.com/@inthepitspaintballpodcast, and recordings are posted to YouTube, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. I want to give a quick shout out to my partner and sponsor tier subscribers on Patreon: FU Athletics, Get Dat Shot, Paintball Kumite, Compete, BEMRAPS, Hydra, XTPL Events, Mariachi Aguilas de Oro, Podrunners Union, SAT 3v3, 71 Designs, TexanHemp.com, and QBRofficial.com. So we will see you guys next week for episode 123. It will be right after the layout drops, so hopefully we'll get some discussion in on that. That's it for our show. Vic, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.